dude,
The
let me tell
leprechaun.
you, I was an absolute slut for green bagels in
Oh,
like growing up.
oh.
Dude, like I don't know what it is. The bagel taste
They
no,
taste
the
so
bagel is
different.
made exactly the same way,
Yeah.
but they put that green dye in it. And it's not even
It
flavored. It's just
no,
green
no, no.
dye.
It tastes so much better somehow. Like a plain, and it just comes plain, a plain same
Literally
pack. Oh
plain
my
green
God, that
bagel.
sounds so good. Especially because every time
Plain
you got
green
to
bagel.
elementary school and sometimes like middle school, like they would have it for you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Two Man Podcast, episode 25. How we doing, Carl?
Oh, dude, I'm doing great. Let's fucking go, baby. Episode 25, halfway to 50. We're cruising, maybe.
We,
We're almost on season 2, I think. We're gonna have to do a season 2 at some point,
we're
right? We gotta
gonna
keep the
have to
hype
do a
going.
season two. We might hit 50. We are halfway there, actually.
Hell yeah,
I don't
baby.
know how
Let's
the
do
math
it.
works, but is that by the end of this year, or is it not enough weeks?
I mean, if we do a couple of like maybe special episodes, maybe we can get there.
True, true. Never say never,
Yeah,
but let's
never say
focus.
never.
Let's focus on this episode for sure because we have a jam-packed episode with a lot of good stuff. So we're gonna kick off right
Hell yeah,
with the
baby.
first topic. Me and Carl attended one of our friends' engagement parties this weekend back on Long Island, and it was a great time. Always great when we get to drink responsibly at an open bar with all our friends.
Yeah, dude, it was electric, man. It was really cool. Just kind of getting to see people who we honestly haven't seen in a while. I know there was a couple of like throwbacks in there. I know we got to see some of our old crew that we used to work with,
Hmm.
which was cool. And then kind of just like getting everybody under the same roof to just kind of
Yeah.
party and have fun. It's especially as you get older, like you take it for granted, like a couple of years
Hmm.
ago when we were in high school, like every Friday night we're all hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
Now it's harder and harder to do that, especially with everybody working and busy schedules, going on vacations or doing stuff with
Hmm.
family. But yeah, man, it was awesome. I had a great time.
Yeah, no, it was like you said, it was so cool. I mean, that catering hall where the event was, that's where, I met all you guys. Obviously, you guys all played
Yeah,
baseball beforehand, but to go back to the place where I, met all you guys, some of my lifelong friends, was really special. And to see some other side characters who were also returning, who also used to work there. And it felt
dude, the
good
side
to, instead of watching all the parties, be on the other side and enjoy all the parties. Because God knows we worked so many parties at the place,
Oh
so
yeah.
it was definitely good to enjoy it, and really a beautiful ceremony. Congrats to the lovely couple.
Oh, dude. Speaking of ceremonies, man, I really wish you freaking ordained them, bro. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I wish. So, for you guys that don't know, yeah, this was an engagement party. I've never really heard of an engagement party until this one. Definitely a great, idea to just get money and gifts, and to get everyone under the same roof to party and have drinks. Don't really blame them. I'll probably be stealing the idea if I have money to throw anything more than a pizza party. But yeah,
Shout out,
so
John.
I just kept saying before, yeah, that's John Joe, can't steal that. But I can't, I, uh, I couldn't get past the idea, and a lot of people couldn't get past the idea that this was gonna be the wedding, or like a surprise wedding. So one thing, I've had this weird thing my whole life that I've just always wanted to be ordained, just in case I could be like straight out of a movie, like two guys in a parking lot, or a couple in a parking lot, like, oh my God, we have to get married now, like straight out of a movie.
Yeah,
So it's like, oh, can anyone do it? And it's like, hey, I could do it. Um, Weirdly easy to get ordained. I thought it was
dude,
gonna be more of a background process. Really simple.
dude. Sorry to cut
No,
you
I want
off.
to hear what you said first.
The way, the first thing that came to my mind when it's like, is anybody ordained? It's like me. Like when like in a movie, like somebody on a plane like is like choking or like needs a Heimlich, and they go, "Is anybody a nurse here?" Your equivalent to that is now I'm
Yeah.
ordained. I can marry
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Someone choking on the plane and just someone having to get married which is probably such a rare occurrence to have to get married in that moment. And I think that I can get it done. It's a bad main character syndrome that I live with, but
Honestly, I think it's on the same. I think it's on the same length. It's even because you're marrying somebody and then saving somebody's life. You
true.
could be saving somebody's life by marrying them. You never know.
You never know. And yeah, so the process was simple. It was literally the night before. I put my name, my email. I think I just put where I live, and I sent it in. I'm like, all right, this might take a couple days, and they emailed me back immediately saying, congratulations, you're ordained. And I just have to like print out or order a copy of this, certificate or whatever, and that was it. So I'm like, oh, there has to be more. Like, how do you marry someone? Like, what goes into it? And you need the certificate. You're like so that you're ordained. You need a marriage license, which is usually retrieved from the courthouse by the couple. Or I think it
Yeah,
could kind of really be done after. I don't know.
yeah, it can. Yeah,
And then the
100%.
third thing is just within the ceremony. You could say really whatever you want, but the only things that have to be said is the I do's, and I now pronounce you husband and wife, or husband and husband, or whatever. That's all. That's all that
That's
goes into it.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it. So like you could say like literally anything before that you want.
I
Like you don't
yeah
have to open up like I Tyler welcome
yeah
you all here to the lovely yada yada yada
yeah. But
and you know that's
by the
wild.
by the way I was reading it, I don't have to say I'm ordained in the state of New York. It's really I was writing down notes during the wedding just in case it did turn into a wedding. I wanted to be ready because the night was starting to get pretty perfect. And it's dearly
No way you
beloved,
did
we are
that.
gathered here today. Blah blah blah. Yeah, the first is a declaration of intent. This is most commonly recognized as do you take dot 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 I do exchange, and then the second is the pronouncement pronouncement, where you will pronounce the couple officially married. That's it. So it's just the I do's and now the Mr. and Mrs. and kiss your significant other. That's it.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, but based on
I'm just gonna find the girl and I'm just gonna be like Tyler over Zoom. You
yeah,
got it.
I could get it done. I could get it done with the
I
consent,
wonder
of
I
course.
wonder I wonder if over Zoom if you could do it.
I don't
Does it
see
have to
why
be in person?
I don't see anything where you have to. I mean, it's not like you exchange like a handshake to.
There's gotta be a law. There's gotta be a law with that. Like I don't know, that would be crazy. Like having a virtual wedding. Like say for example, like I was in Vegas and I was like, all right, Tyler, I found the love of my life. I FaceTime you and I'm like, hey, like can you like right here, I don't want to go to the courthouse. I don't want
Yeah.
Elvis marrying me. I want you. I
I
don't think that
mean,
would be legal.
I'd be flattered considering how many people get married in Vegas with the chapels and everything. But yeah, I think it would work as long as you have a marriage license. Like I said, I think the license has to come first. But like, if I marry you and then I could probably just sign off on it after, right? I don't think
I
the
don't see
order
why not.
because it's up to you guys. Like you guys chose me, so
Yeah. I mean,
um,
at all the weddings that I've been to, especially I've worked,
mhm.
I do see a lot of I do see a lot of times they sign it after. You don't have to sign the
Yeah,
marriage certificate before. You need to have like a witness and stuff
yeah,
beforehand. And I know in the Jewish culture, you need to do the whole like vows exchange and stuff beforehand. Like they
sure.
have the what do they call it? I forget off the top of my head what they call it. But
Yeah,
they bring everybody
don't even try. No
upstairs.
need to offend people.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna bury myself right now.
Good idea.
But yeah, they usually go into the room. They have the parents there. They have to have witnesses sign everything, and it's like the
Hmm.
same thing with if you ordainment as well. You
Yeah,
have to. I'm sure you have to have witnesses sign the marriage
yeah,
license, and
yeah.
then as long as you have a witness from both sides, then you're good to go.
Yeah, because obviously it
But
has to be consensual
wild.
and stuff like that. But no, yeah. So I'm ordained. I got to order the slip. But it was funny because as I was telling people throughout the night, there was like three other people who were telling me they're also ordained. So, which is three more
Yeah,
than I
dude,
would have thought.
I might just do it too. Like that's crazy.
Why
That
not?
seems
It's
like such an easy process. How long did it take you?
30 seconds. Like I'm not even kidding, 30 seconds.
What?
It was
That
I
is
looked it up and then I every because I'm like maybe I
that's
chose the wrong
wild.
website, maybe I did it wrong, but 30 seconds. All the websites basically lead to the same way to do it. So I don't think it matters how you or where you get ordained. It's just like, yeah,
So
you're
you
ordained.
only ordained in the state of New York, or are
I don't
you
know.
like
That's how I always
ordained?
thought it was. I think so,
Me
but
too.
I'm I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, some signs before the wedding that I was talking about with people was like it's an engagement party, but if it's a wedding, two things are probably certain that there'll be a photographer. And I thought if I see a wedding cake, it's a wedding. Professional photographer walked in during cocktail hour. I went, step one is complete.
Step one
Let's,
is complete.
and then I saw the maitre d', our boy Terrence,
Our
pushing a
boy
cart
T.
with a big box, cardboard box that usually has the wedding cakes in it. So I'm like, that's a wedding cake. So as I was already a few drinks in, here I am, just laser focused, writing down some jokes, writing down some notes. Like I was ready, but I wasn't gonna
Yo,
pressure anyone.
can you please read off some of the jokes you have? Was it on your phone?
I can't. I won't say it right now. I'll save it for next time we all hang out together. It's on my phone,
Ah, man, that's awesome. That's
dude.
awesome.
But I mean, yeah, maybe next time. But also,
Oh, that's
regardless, I
hilarious.
don't think it would have been the best idea. Had a few drinks in me. I didn't want to be too embarrassing. Up
No,
in front of him. It should be very special. But
that would have been amazing, dude. It would have been awesome. It would have been it honestly would have been so us. Like it would have been
yeah,
so us.
yeah. But there was like it wasn't just like friends. Like there was family there. Like
I
people,
know, yeah.
grandmas and moms, like and dads and grandpas. They wait their whole life, for this moment for their little girl, little boy to get married. And could you imagine? I walked up there. Oh, what's up, assholes? How are we doing today? I don't think.
That's
I think
exactly how you would have went up there. I think that literally would have been your
I would have actually had my
opening line.
mouth over the mic. Hey, how we doing? And then I just would have kept rambling on. So it might have been crisis averted for sure. But regardless,
Oh,
I had a
that's
great
amazing.
time.
Yeah, and no, it's just something crazy about the whole like engagement party experience, coming from the catering aspect. Um, it was funny too, because I mean, obviously Langus and I work in the field, so
Yeah,
he got like a hella discount and he knew the people there that we were like working with and stuff. But even like the sales guy who he was working with Langus, um Greg was like, dude, like why didn't you just get ordained? Like why don't you just get married now? Like
yeah.
knock it all out. Like why not?
Well, yeah,
And
because
then
yeah.
well, no, like, and then I was thinking about it, was like selfishly, I was like, no, because I want to have another party. But
Mhm.
then also, I was like, you would have saved so much money because they spent probably like half of what they would have spent
Yeah,
for an actual wedding.
true.
And then, yeah, and then could have easily done that. So, anybody out there listening to this, you could 100%, if you want to, say you're having an engagement party, pay half the price that you would for a wedding, and then be set and chilling.
True. Yeah,
So,
100%. Yeah, and if you guys want to pay $1,000, I can be your guy for 30 minutes of a ceremony.
dude, honestly, that's a pretty fair rate,
Yeah,
honestly.
you think $1,000? No way they get paid that much. How much do you think they actually get paid? No way that
I don't
much. I
know.
was thinking 100 was too much.
Reverend Dan, bro, does this for a living. Shout out my boy Reverend Dan. He's the elite.
Fair, but like, does he only? Yeah.
That's like, I mean, he's like retired and it's like his only job, you know, and
Oh,
I'm
so
sure
yeah. I mean, I can't
he's
really
got like another
support it.
income.
Yeah, I can't really do that.
I
24
mean,
years old.
but if you start ordaining people, two at a time, two weddings a day, maybe not $1,000. Say you do $500.
Yeah, true.
Because weddings, dude, you could like literally just anything, any amount of money goes pretty much because like
True.
average rate for anything is super high.
True.
Like I know Mike who used to play guitar for like
Hmm.
cocktail, I'm pretty sure they would charge like $800 for him to play for the hour, you know?
Yeah. Well, even just another point with that, actually, not even do they pay you, is most of the time they invite you to stay for the whole wedding. I mean, I've seen plenty of times where
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
priest, the pastor, or you know whoever else married you is at the table enjoying cocktail food and a
Yeah,
dinner for free. So regardless, even if you get
dude,
paid a
for
couple hundred
free.
bucks, free food and entertainment for
And
the
they
night.
and they get and they just usually dip right after. Once they get fed, they're gone. They're out.
Oh, every
They're
time,
out
yeah. No, I
every
know.
time.
So some of the people who get paid at weddings, it's just like ridiculous. They're always prima donnas, and not to get into a whole side tangent, but just the photographers, and they charge so much
Oh
money
yeah.
to do pictures, and then they're like, "All right, you have to take this picture now," and then we're leaving. It's like, all right, just it's their day, I know, but anywho, that's off topic, but
I mean, yeah,
it could be a good side gig.
I'm not gonna name drop who spent this much money. I will say who it's not. It's not Langus and Emily, but I have a relative
Mm.
who did have a wedding recently, and just for the photographer, they spent 12 grand just for the photographer. They're there for 1 day.
Yeah,
Like, and they're only taking pictures, like wedding pictures for you. I mean, yes, I understand they have to do a lot of editing and stuff afterwards, but 12 grand
that's
for
like
pictures? Dude, I could have taken my iPhone and taken the same fucking shit,
Exactly.
and it would have
It's like a grand a
just as
picture
good.
almost because if it's how long is the day? I mean, I guess it depends if they, how long they're taking pictures if they're doing the get ready process, but that's like a 12-hour
Yeah,
day if you go from there. But that's a grand an hour for yeah, like you said, something you
that's
do on the iPhones.
ridiculous.
But I mean, hey, if
Ridiculous.
you can get paid for that, I mean, good on you, I guess.
God bless, man. God bless. I was thinking about it, man. Like, I'm pretty good at taking pictures on my iPhone. I would say I'm pretty
Hmm.
what's the word? Not photogenic is when you're good at like being in pictures. I have a
I
good
guess it
eye
could
for
go
photos. I guess that's what I would say.
photo. I think
Yeah.
photogenic would work both ways. I'll allow it. I
Yeah.
don't.
Whatever. I'll allow it. I'm pretty photogenic. And I was like, dude, just making some side cash, just like doing pictures for like not even like doesn't even have to be weddings, but if you do it for,
Hmm.
small baby showers or stuff, charge like dirt cheap and just make a
Yeah.
couple extra hundred
So
bucks like on
I,
the weekend. Like, why not?
for this one thing I was doing for work, I took a picture of this project I kind of wrote about, and guy reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, you have such a high definition picture. Like, I'm willing to pay you, or pay for the rights to the picture, or make a donation."
No way.
I was like, I simply took the picture on my iPhone. It's all you, sir. Like, it's crazy what the
It's all
iPhones
you.
can do. Yeah, I was like, it's all yours. Like, I'm not gonna charge you, but it's crazy what the iPhones can do. And these guys got like 6 attachments. It looks like an AR by the end of it. They got sights and they got extenders and stuff like that. It's like you're just taking a picture, man. Like,
No, it's
but
actually crazy. My favorite thing is the light towers that they have in the
mm.
back, the photographer guys. And
Oh
it's like they'll
yeah,
take a picture and they'll be like, all right, hon, all right, now stay right there. And then they'll take the little stand around and they'll
yeah.
run over here and then they'll drop it down. They'll be like, all right, here you go. Now, all right, oh no, wrong angle. There's too much shadow. And then bring it around the other way. Oh, it's ridiculous, dude.
Mm.
I mean, listen, play to them. These pictures do come out
Oh
absolutely
yeah, yeah,
beautiful. I do
yeah.
get a lot of them, but it's just so funny, and especially when you get like kind of like a Gestapo photographer who's like, all right,
Oh.
my timeline, this they got to do this and this, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
dude, it's 5 minutes before they're about to walk down the aisle. No more pictures. You can take them after. Like, what? It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. No,
Oh,
I
it's my
know.
favorite thing.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it gets me excited but scared day by day as we eventually
Now
get
I know.
closer to me and Taylor's wedding, whenever that may be.
Out of our friends, you're definitely one of those who are very close, very close.
It's a lot of
Um,
pressure, a lot of pressure. I would like some more friends to get married first. Not that not that I don't want to do it, but I want to see a couple run throughs of people's plans before I set
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
precedent. Even though the
No,
engagement party
that's
was
a
like,
fact.
yeah, the engagement party was like a wedding, so I get plenty of ideas working catering. But like, I want a couple weddings first.
No, especially with our friends too. Like you want to know like whose bridal or bridal party you're gonna be in. You
Yeah,
want to know like what table you're sitting at. So like if I
yeah,
put Jerry at table 15 at mine, he puts me at
yeah.
table 1, which if usually those tables are closer to the bride and groom, like you're
Hmm.
more important. Sorry if you're ever been a table like 17 all the way in the back.
Hmm.
But that's usually what happens. So, I gotta go to a couple of these, feel out where I rank in
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
friend's eyes and see what table I should be sitting at. I'll let you know. Langus put me at table, I think it was 15. or no, I was at table 10. So I
Yeah.
was, and there was only 14 tables. So I'm just saying that Marcus, I know where I sit, dude. That's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. But one thing for certain at all these open bar parties is that open bars stay undefeated. They will
Oh,
defeat you every single time. And that engagement party kicks
yeah.
off a long march, which leads us into our next topic.
Yeah.
This month is St. Patrick's Day, and day is a pretty loose term. It's St. Patrick's month. Once March
Month.
1st hits,
Month.
it's all everyone's been thinking about is St. Patrick's Day, at least in my eyes. I'm
Yeah.
maybe 25% Irish, maybe 50%, maybe 0%. Come March, I am 100% Irish. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to these next few weekends, let me tell you.
Let me tell you, yo, dude, first of all, I want to hear your March schedule you have planned because what's crazy to me is that I know our lovely Al Alamada, how do you say that word?
What do you like?
When you're alumni,
Alamada?
what's the word?
Alamader? Alamader?
Yeah, Alamada. Yeah, our lovely Alamada. I don't think that's how you say it,
I think
honestly.
it's Alamater. Alamater?
Alamater. Yeah,
Sure.
our lovely or whatever. Anyway, New Haven.
Yeah, I was about to say, just say it.
Yeah, New Haven last weekend had the first bar crawl that I saw for
Mm.
St. Patty's Day, and that was only in the first week of March. I'm pretty sure this weekend, besides the one we're going to, Farmingdale,
Hmm.
in Long Island has one, and then actual St. Patty's Day, they're having one. I know there's every weekend it seems like there's just another bar crawl or something going on.
Yeah, there's
And then you
bar
have
crawls.
actual St. Patty's Day,
Yeah.
which is on a Sunday, so
Hmm.
people are gonna be drinking and calling out the next day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I know. And I almost laughed before because I remembered, I'll show you after, but we have a memory on Snapchat of St. Patty's Day crawl a few years ago. I got a good one to show you for sure. But yeah,
I know exactly what it was. I
it's even
saw it.
crazier
I
because
actually recently saw it the other day.
yeah, I gotta show you, and it's great. But yeah, I saw everyone has their parades, their bar crawls like weekends before. But what's crazier too is like Boston has like a big one. A couple
Yeah.
other places have like big St. Patty's Day parades, but they would just have it on the Sunday of St. Patty's Day weekend. But like St. Patty's Day falls on Sunday on parade
Yeah.
day. So
It's
I think
crazy.
that's gonna be even crazier. Yeah, and then like for example, this Saturday we're shipping up to Boston, part one. We're going to Harpoon Fest, a nice brewery in Boston.
Yes.
You pay a fee, you get some drink tickets with it, and you're under a tent with some live music for like 7 hours. Can't really beat it, and I really am looking forward to it. Missed it last year. I'm excited to get some of the gang back together and get up there this year.
Yeah, man, we got a pretty good crew going. I'm
Hmm.
hyped. I'm leaving Friday after work, heading
Hmm.
up there. But yeah, I just think it's crazy. That just the whole month is basically that the holiday is just known for drinking.
Drinking, yeah,
I couldn't even tell you what the actual holiday is for. I mean,
nope,
obviously I'm not Irish.
yeah,
I don't really partake, but I partake in it because it's something
hmm,
we've always done. Even like
yeah,
when we're in elementary school, we
oh
used to
yeah.
wear green to class. Is it the bagel taste?
They
No,
taste
the
so
bagel is
different.
made exactly the same way,
Yeah,
but they put that green dye in it, and it's not even
it
flavored. It's just
no,
green
no, no.
dye.
It tastes so much better somehow. Like a plain, and it just comes plain. A plain St.
Literally
Pat. Oh
plain
my
green
God, that
bagel.
sounds so good. Especially because every time
Plain
you got
green
to
bagel.
elementary school and sometimes like middle school, like they would have it for you, so
Yes.
you didn't even have to like pay.
Yes.
God damn it! Oh
Oh
my
my
God,
God,
I'm
dude, it
so
was
excited. I
awesome.
have to get one this
Dude,
year. I have to get one.
dude, I so the one thing I told Courtney was that if like she was like, yeah, so like when you guys come up Saturday, we're gonna have brunch before we go to the brewery, blah blah. And like she's telling me, and like I'm not even listening.
Yeah,
Like she's starting to talk about this,
yeah.
and
No need.
I'm like, no, what are we having? Like you're saying brunch. Like I
Yeah,
need to know, like what kind of vibe is this? Like you're not making some nice like mimosas and like
yeah,
scrambled eggs, pancakes,
yeah,
blah blah blah. Is there gonna be green bagels? I said,
yeah,
I don't want to be there.
yeah,
There's no green bagels. I will bring them from Long Island myself.
yeah.
I will find them. and I will bring them. But
Brunch,
if there's no green bagels, I'm having
yeah.
a riot.
And any other day, brunch is great with, some eggs, some bacon, some pancakes, some waffles. There was two things that need to be there at this brunch. As to be green bagels and probably some green mimosas to get us going for the
Yes, green
day.
mimosas.
That's all we
Yes,
need, and then the
yes.
vibes are high. And then just all the shandies playing, just all the Irish music playing throughout the day.
All the shandies.
I'm
Yes.
pumped. You were talking about in school. Do you remember when the leprechaun used to come in too, like during recess and like mess with the room and
Yes,
like
I
leave that all the time?
yes.
Dude, it also just reminded me that
Yeah, dude.
this was so tough. When I was younger, I, like everyone else, believed in leprechauns. But for like 3 or 4 years, me and my grandpa would make traps to try and catch the leprechaun.
No
I would
way.
like, yeah, so I would leave it out the night before, and it basically was like this box, like a wooden box, four sides, and it had like, a lever on top with a rubber band, and then he would try and go inside because I think I would leave like a pot of fake gold, and he would go in, and I would try and trap him. But for years, God bless my parents, they would like leave little things behind. Like I just almost caught him. Like one year they left, it was a
That
shoe.
is so smart, dude.
Dude, one year was the
That's
leprechaun's shoe.
awesome.
One year was his hat. One year was like part of his clothing. I think one year was like a bag of gold, not actual gold, but like gold
Would
coins.
you change the trap up every year to try and catch him? Like, would you like learn? Would you adapt? I feel like that's something your
No.
grandpa would do. I feel like your grandpa would be like, you know what? We tried this last year. It didn't work. Let's try something different.
Yeah, it
Like, let's do.
I think one year we kind of did like a rope on top and tried to trap him, but then I think the following years we did just the thing that snapped closed. Because I mean,
Nice.
how many traps could you really make?
Like a mouse trap.
Basically, I mean, this thing, it's probably still somewhere at my parents' house if they haven't thrown it out. This thing snapped down hard. If the leprechauns were real and they got caught in that thing, they were dead. There was no trapping them. They're dead. So, um, but yeah, no, just you brought back so many memories now with the leprechauns and stuff. I thought I should
Dude,
get that one out there.
just before we move on about St. Patty's Day,
Yeah.
something that just came to my mind that I just find so funny. What's with these holidays and having midgets be a like predominant part of the holiday?
What
Like you got
else?
elves,
Oh, okay. I
you
was
got
gonna say, what else
elves,
besides leprechauns? Yeah.
you got leprechauns.
Yeah, you got these small mystical creatures for sure.
Yes,
Hmm.
there's got to be more. There's got to be more.
Maybe, but yeah, see, I mean,
Dwarves, dwarves. I don't know what religion. Oh, that's not a religion, but
Snow
like
White.
there's like the yes, Snow White. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Like the
Oh,
seven dwarfs.
yeah, I don't know. Oompa Loompas.
Oh,
And they're always like,
yes,
wait,
small
they're
people.
always like getting put to work too. They're not under the greatest
Yeah.
conditions. Huh. They're getting
Yeah.
mistreated.
Yeah, it's crazy. You
That
know,
is actually a
that's
crazy thing you
messed
brought
up.
up. That
Yeah,
is
messed
definitely
up.
messed up.
See, like, and then Elf in the movie, Buddy, then he was then looked at for not being small
Hmm.
because he was tall. He was then the minority.
Huh.
That's that's crazy.
That is crazy. Really, really brought up a
Why
good
can't
topic
elves
here.
be all different sizes? Why can't they all be? They could become in all sizes: small, tall, medium, large, wide, whatever.
Very beautiful.
You know, listen, I'm here to fight for elves and leprechauns alike. That
Listen, I tried to catch the
doesn't matter.
leprechauns. I don't know what I would have done if I caught one, but I was trying to catch him. I don't think I would have put him to work. I probably just had some questions and wanted his gold. Um, yeah,
Just wanted his gold. Just give me a couple coins. That's all I want. Then
yeah,
I'll let you free.
yeah. St. Patty's Day, I'm pumped. That's only this weekend. Next weekend is St. Patty's Day in Boston.
Actual St. Patty's Day.
I
Yeah,
think I'm going back to Boston, honestly, because it's also Courtney's
that's
birthday.
crazy,
So I'm gonna live it up again. Because why not?
dude.
I will probably have throughout the 2 weekends 15 Irish car bombs, maybe more. It's obviously over like 6 days, but dude,
Oh, that's awesome,
I
bro.
turn
That's
into a
awesome,
Irish car bomb connoisseur in March. This is gonna
dude.
be fun.
Friday, whatever place we're going out, Irish car bomb. Irish car
Irish
bomb.
car bomb. Yeah, I remember last year, like me and Casey, like went to the bathroom real quick, and there was a bar like next to the bathroom. We left the bathroom, like the girls were waiting for us downstairs, and they're like, "What took you so long?" There was no line at the bar. We had a couple Irish car bombs. They're just so
That's
good.
amazing.
But
Oh,
yeah,
dude. It's so great too about the holiday is like a lot of the bars you go to don't have lines because all the bars are open. So it's
Mhm.
not like one bar is just like known to be like crazy. Even restaurants even open up into a bar scene because they know it's just going to be so profitable for them. So,
Exactly. And
um,
it's not even
it's
like
crazy.
mixed drinks, so you have to do anything special. Like it's just St. Patty's Day is like beer and
Yeah.
then like some shots of like
Hmm.
maybe Jameson or whatever else. But I mean, you can still do shots of whatever, but like it's just like beer. You just have to be
Yeah.
stocked up on
Beer.
all beer, obviously mostly Guinness, but beer. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Beer.
So
Beer. Beer. Beer.
it's nice and simple, and I
Just
look
my
forward to it.
stomach's gonna be like out to fucking
Dude,
here,
I'm gonna be
bro.
feeling it. March is gonna take a hit, but I'm here for it. And next episode for sure, we'll be talking more about our adventures throughout
Oh, our
Boston, or at
adventures.
least this weekend.
No, no freaking doubt, man. No doubt. Hopefully, I'm thinking about possibly getting up there again for 2 weekends in a row. I don't know if my body's gonna be able to handle it,
Yeah, we'll
but
see.
we shall see. Because also, after this weekend on Monday, I'm going to tequila tasting. I've never been to like any kind of tasting before, so
Wow,
I'm kind of hype.
you never
Yeah,
been to
I'm
like a
kind of hype.
winery or anything?
I mean, yeah, but like not like alcohol. Like not like I've been to a distillery or whatever, but this is like
Hmm.
specifically like a tasting.
Oh,
Like
what's
I've never been to like specifically to a tasting where you like go and like like taste different types of tequila. Like I've been to a brewery and I've had like their like, their best like beer, or I've been
sure?
to a winery and I've
Yeah,
had their like wine, but
gotcha.
like I've never been to like a tasting, which
A
I
tasting
find is
like
really cool.
wow, that's gonna be awesome. I'm very jealous, especially because it's tequila. So that sounds cool.
I know. It's pretty cool. It's like it was $100 for the ticket. You
Nice,
get like 4 to 5 drinks, and it's
nice.
like they give you 4 to 5 of their like mixed drinks,
Yeah.
and then they give you a couple of like different like tequilas that they make
Mm-hmm.
um to like taste.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally they send you home with a bottle of tequila.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, that's awesome
That's
because
worth it.
like
I mean,
if I were to go to the bar and if I were to get those drinks, it'd probably cost me $60 itself. And then
yeah,
the bottle itself is probably $60,
yeah.
So
You
I'm
getting
making
it's
out
worth
on the
it.
deal here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, it's a steal
I'm
of a
like, let's
deal.
go.
Maybe
Yeah,
I
I'm
might have to
hyped.
clear my schedule for Monday. I might have to come down.
It is Monday night, so if you work from home Tuesday,
I might have to. I might have to take you
you
up
can
on
hop
that
in my
offer.
car with me on you can hop with my car with me on Sunday. Taylor can drive herself home.
You might
She could
have
drive
to.
home with Casey or something.
Yeah, they might have to figure it out because that's a steal there.
It's a steal, man. It's a steal. Terrence is going too. T Money.
I'm almost insulted I wasn't invited, honestly.
You live in Connecticut, man. Move back to the island.
For some
Yeah, two-man
tequila.
podcast. Put it down here. Let them know. Move back to the island to do some tequila tastings.
If any tequila also wants to sponsor us, go for it.
Yeah, any tequila. Anyone out there? If this comes along your For You page, any tequila,
We
let
got
us
you.
know.
Yeah.
We got you. We'll drink it on the pod. We'll endorse it on here. Like just imagine as you see our faces above my head, below Tyler's head, above our heads, it'll say blah 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 tequila.
You know how like on New Heights
Blah
they
blah
have like a
blah
whole
tequila.
little fridge of Accelerator because that's who they're sponsored by. Just imagine a big shelf
Yes.
right here, all your tequila, whatever tequila
Just
company,
all your tequila.
right here,
Yep.
and it will be
Right here.
consumed. It will be consumed, and we'll
I'm
talk highly about it. I've never had bad tequila.
never, me neither.
This is
And
the
I'm
pitch.
sure whatever one yours is going to sponsor us, it's gonna be the best tequila I've ever tasted. And I will probably drink it for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
The rest
But
of my life. You
yeah.
know, speaking of people being sponsored by tequila,
Mhm.
I need to have a an opinion about tequila. I think as much as I love Casamigos, I think that it is very overrated
It
or
is.
overhyped.
I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
I'm with I'm with you on that one. Yeah, it's like I don't know, premiere or like everyone's like, oh, obviously right after Don Julio, I feel like everyone's like, oh, Casamigos is like high class.
yeah,
Like give me Casamigos. I don't really like it that much. I
yeah. Like
I
honestly, I'd rather Terramana.
I like, and it's
Like
not
we're
because
fans
it's
of
the rocks.
Terramana.
It's not because it's the rocks. Terramana
Yeah,
just tastes better to me. I like it better.
yeah. I
Casamigos
agree.
is a nicer, thoughtful gift because it's kind of more expensive. But
Exactly. Yeah,
I'd rather Terramana any day of the week. I have like 3 bottles
yeah.
of it as we speak.
Exactly, like you said, if I were to go to a store and get a gift for somebody's birthday and I knew they like tequila, I'd probably get them Casamigos, like
Yeah,
on the upper end side.
yeah,
But if I'm going out and I'm buying tequila for me to have and I don't care about the price tag, I'm
yeah,
gonna get Teremana.
yeah,
Or I'm gonna get I even like what we use at the mansion, our house tequila is Altos.
yeah. I like
Like
that too.
that tequila to me is also really good.
Yeah, I don't
So
have Casamigos is maybe five in top five, maybe, which is
yeah,
kind of crazy to think about. But
yeah, crazy, dude. Crazy.
no, I'm
But
glad you're on board with that. But yeah, yeah,
I'm on board, man. And I will let you know how this tequila is on Monday, how it is.
please
It'll
do,
be part of my recap of the St. Patty's Day weekend and
please
everything.
do, please do. Yeah,
Um,
but yeah,
so to move on into our next topic, I actually this segues perfectly. It wasn't how I thought of it in my head,
okay.
but it is exactly what we needed. So speaking of things being overhyped, right now we basically last episode we talked about how Tyler hated Dune
Mm-hmm.
and that he was gonna give it a rewatch. So we're gonna talk about Tyler and his experience rewatching the first Dune movie. And then basically right now you literally can't go to on TikTok or any other social media right now
Mm-hmm.
without talking about Dune 2. It is
Mm-hmm.
quite possibly probably the most overhyped or glazed movie right now, people are saying. But I personally I saw it. I think it is really good. A lot of people are just hyping the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Some people are saying it's being glazed, which is I guess a slang term for saying that it's being too like social medialized. I don't know if that's even a word,
yeah.
but yeah, Tyler. So before we dig into that, let's talk about the awesome adventures of Dune and what you thought about the first movie.
Yeah, anyone who hasn't listened to past episodes, I was a pretty big hater of Dune. I also only saw probably about 20, 40 minutes of it. I fell asleep for a lot of it, kept waking up at different parts. And I really just listened to the opinion of a couple of my roommates who I watched it with, who also did stayed up for most of the movie but fell asleep and also didn't like it. And I haven't watched it since. Um, and I always never like movies that say like, oh, well, you have to see the second one or wait for the second one to like the first one, stuff like that. But I knew the second one was coming out. Finally watched the first one, watched it with an open mind, and it was a good movie. It shockingly enough, I can say it was a good movie, which may be revolutionary to some people to hear. Obviously, a little. Well, at first I thought it was 3 hours. 2.5 ain't that bad. I think the only complaint I had was like it got boring at points. Some parts could have been cut down shorter. You could probably say that about any long
100%.
movie,
I,
but
I agree. Yeah.
yeah, but obviously, um, since Dune came out, so many people have been talking about how like Star Wars stole so much from Dune, but like I think considering how I like Star Wars, that was the one I saw first, besides the original Dune, which I have never seen. Um, it's like Star Wars, it has similar aspects to Star Wars, so I think that's kind of why I liked it so much. And it just had so many named actors, which always helps. And I had no idea what this movie was going to be, where it was going to go. I have never read the book, I've never heard anything about it, and I thought it was a good movie, and it got me excited for Dune 2. And hearing all these great things about Dune 2, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad that you rewatched it and you
Yeah,
really like it.
yeah.
Because I was the same way though. I went into it, and not that I didn't like it. I actually really liked it on my first watch. I think that was one of the movies that I started watching that kind of really got me into like the cinematography of movies
Hmm.
and this like listening to like the score. Like before I watched that movie that came out in 2021, I would just go to the movies, see a Marvel movie, see an action movie, and be like, dude, if there was explosions and cool fight
Yeah,
sequences,
yeah, yeah.
dope. I was about it, you know?
Literally.
Um, but when I saw that movie, it kind of like opened up, I guess, my movie palette to like different movies and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, but I was like, I had to also after I watched the movie be like, wow, like I need to kind of like think about it, see it again maybe. But I
Hmm.
actually didn't watch it for a really long time after. I watched it in the movie theater once,
Yeah.
and I actually didn't watch it again until recently with my mom, right before I just saw Dune 2 last weekend.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I thought the same thing. Well, a lot of really cool things that I thought about is how Star Wars was basically inspired by it,
Yeah.
and like a lot of things that like came out of it, like basically it takes place on Tatooine. Like Tatooine is Arrakis, like which
Yeah.
I thought was really cool. And then like Paul Atreides is supposed to be Luke Skywalker, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
but Paul Atreides was the first one, so it's cool. Like, and then like, but like those are like the core things of like Star Wars that I like. That Luke is the chosen one.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're on a planet that like nobody's like seen before.
Hmm.
It's really it's a cool thing. I actually just bought the book up here. I've been telling myself since saw the first one. So if you see it right up here, it is really long for our visual readers or watchers. Yeah, there is
Jesus.
close to 700 pages in this thing.
Jeez.
Like that's ridiculous.
Do they
There's
have?
no shot there's no shot I'm reading this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like there's no
No.
way.
Do they have? How many? Are there the same amount of Dune books as movies? Like, how many books are there?
So I looked it up. So the first two movies, because that book is 700 pages,
Hmm.
they broke up the movies or the book into two movies.
Okay.
So like their plan for right now
Hmm.
essentially is to do there's the first book, which is Dune. The second book is called Dune Messiah.
Hmm.
So the first book or the first trilogy is going to be Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2, and then Dune 3. I'm like, don't quote me on this because again, I only know my shit from TikTok,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming from the first book to the second book, there's actually a 12-year age gap or like a gap in between.
Jeez.
So
I gotta
like
try and make Timothy Chalamet look old. That's gonna be tough.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. But in the whole series, I think there's like close to like 10 to 12 books.
What?
I mean, obviously it's not like the full story. Like the full story, I think stops after like the third book.
Oh, gotcha. It's kind of
Um,
like spin-offs and
but
stuff.
like, but it's kind of like spin-offs, like with like the whole like universe of like Dune and stuff. But crazy, dude. You want to know? I looked it up because I was like, I know I'm not reading this thing front to cover. I'm gonna have to listen to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Guess how long the audiobook is for this?
Oh my
Just
God.
wild guess. Just
700 pages.
take a
10
guess.
hours.
You're not even close, dude. You're
No
not even
way. How
close.
long? Who's reading
Not
this
even
thing? A
close.
toddler? Well, I mean, I
Dude,
shouldn't make fun. How long is it?
yeah, not a top.
Yeah.
21 hours, bro.
Bro. I
21
know it's seven.
hours.
And actually, I really take back my comment. I am the slowest reader in the world, so that
Yeah,
would take me a lot longer. So never
it
mind.
would
But
probably take
Jesus.
me like 2 to 3 months to read this thing, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
like reading like 100 pages like at a time. Like if I did a book, or I don't even
Yeah.
know if that math even goes up. I read 100 pages a week. I
Yeah.
still don't even think I'd be able to do it.
No, probably
But
not.
yeah, no, crazy stuff, dude. Like
That's
absolutely crazy.
that's nuts. That's
No,
crazy.
nuts.
But it's always tough, but kind of easier. But it's kind of crazy too if you think about it. Like just kind of talking about like movies and books. Like I know like Hunger Games were based off books and
Yeah.
loosely or whatever, and Harry Potter and Dune and all this stuff. And excuse me, I'm always like shocked with the endings or scenes or plots and stuff. And everyone I see in the comments sometimes that people are like, well, if you read the books, it's like, well, I'm not
Yeah.
reading the books. Okay. How many people are reading the books? I'm sitting here for the movie. And I've never thought to
a
like
hundred
look
percent.
up the summary of the book beforehand. Cause obviously, one, I don't want to know.
No.
But if I wanted to, like, I would have never thought to look at the books. Like, they're out. And I know, like,
Yeah.
sometimes the movies change some things here and there. Like, it's not always 100% exact. But if you really think about it, it's kind of crazy how they base a lot of these things off books. Like, I didn't even know Dune was a book
Yeah,
until
dude. Like what?
not too long ago.
It's funny that you say that because when I first like saw that they were coming out with this movie Dune and it had like these like A1 like actors,
Yeah.
like the first movie was Timothy Chalamet, Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa, not
Josh Brolin.
John Berlin, Josh Berlin, yeah, Zendaya. Oscar Isaac, like
Yeah.
all these really good actors and actresses. I was like, dude, like this is sick. And then like when I was seeing like the promos and stuff for it, they're like, oh, it's like based off of a book. And it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But then
Hmm.
they're like, yeah, this book came out in like the 50s.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow. And
Yeah.
then they're like, yeah, Star Wars was inspired by it. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool though, like that, you know, especially like now, like a lot of the like Marvel comic books and stuff, a lot
Hmm.
of them that like they draw inspiration from
Yeah.
were written in the 60s and we're
Hmm.
kind of just now, bringing it to like the big screen.
Yeah.
But one of the things I also feel like is kind of sad is like we don't have our own inspiration or our own like ideas like as a
Yeah.
culture
No
now. I feel like
originality,
everything's just like
kind of.
regurgitated. Yeah, no
Yeah.
originality. Like everything's just regurgitated like into, media today. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the movies are great and like the people who do come out with the movies put their own spin on it. But
Hmm.
it's like when are we gonna get our like Star Wars? Like our Star Wars was, that was something that was created by George Lucas and like but like now Disney has it and we're gonna have Star Wars for the rest of time. Like they're never
Unfortunately.
not gonna make Star Wars content. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
In
but
some senses.
fortunately too. Yeah, unfortunately,
Until
yeah.
John Favreau kind of takes more of the realm, but that's a separate story. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I
exactly,
see what you're
exactly.
saying though.
But yeah, it's cool. Like, but it is so cool though, like how these books though, like I personally wouldn't have went and gotten this book if I didn't see the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like it's cool. I guess it brings another I guess streamline of consumers to buy
Hmm.
things after you make a movie about something, an adaptation. But
Nice. Nice
yeah,
work.
man, I did see Dune 2 and not non-spoiler. I did talk about how this movie is getting glazed. Is it worth it being glazed? I 100% think it is, dude.
Hmm.
Um, do I think it is the greatest sequel of all time? It's in the conversation. I don't know if I would put it up there with like top three. I don't know if I would put up there number one. We
Hmm.
could maybe do that as a video another time.
Yeah.
Maybe a quick game like top sequels of all time. But I think it's definitely in the conversation. It was really good, especially because a lot of people didn't like the first one, and the first movie was so split. Like me and you watched the movie, and
Hmm.
then you said you didn't like it, and then I said I liked it. And
Yeah.
then there
Yeah.
was like, and then you watch it again, and then you said you liked it. But a lot of people, their first viewings, they were the same. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, I don't like the movie, not
Yeah.
even gonna give it
Hmm.
another shot,
Yeah.
But everybody who has seen this movie, I don't know if it's because everybody who has seen it really liked the first movie, and like nobody else bothered. But I've
Hmm.
talked to people who didn't even see the first movie and then went to go see this one, and they're like, dude, this movie was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I'm excited for more people to go see it. I'm excited for you to go see it. So maybe next episode we could talk about it more.
Hmm.
But absolutely amazing. I think the standout performance was had to be Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya. Like
Beautiful.
they killed every scene they were in.
Yeah.
I really like Josh Brolin's character too. But yeah, really really great movie. And if you haven't seen it and if you um are on Tyler's side where you didn't like it, give it another shot.
Yeah.
Give it another shot.
I definitely recommend giving it another shot, and I look forward to seeing Dune 2 and talking more about it. Especially it's got a lot of the same A-list characters that bring people in. They had Austin Butler, they had
Yeah,
Florence Pugh, they
they
had
did.
I think that's all I could think of off the top of my head. But with the same actors you already named, that's already good enough, and
Yeah.
added a few. So, yeah, next episode we will definitely talk more about
Next
that.
episode, man. As it was written, man. You'll know that once you watch the movie. As it was
So,
written.
sounds good. And to move to our next topic, we'll talk about someone who's been getting glazed a lot in the media, and
Such a good segue,
that's
bro. Let's go.
unfortunately we're not overrated or anything in that sense. But Jason Kelce finally announced his retirement. He's been toying with the idea for probably the last 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Eagles had such a collapse in the second half, but nonetheless, he decided to hang up the cleats, and it's been really sad. Honestly, I wasn't
Yeah,
even an
man.
Eagles fan, but through the podcast and through everything else, I've become a huge fan of his, and then that was tough.
Yeah. One of the coolest quotes that I saw, I was from Kylie. They interviewed her after the whole
Hmm.
retirement speech, and they asked her, "Are you surprised with like how much like reception that Jason is getting
Hmm.
after his retirement speech, like all the people saying that he had a great season. And she kind of had a cocky but kind of great quote. She was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm really not surprised at all. Like I know the type of man my husband is, and that's why I married him. And like
Yeah.
he
Hey.
is such a great and genuine human being, and
Hmm.
that's why he has touched so many people the way he has. Like he's
Hmm.
just a outstanding guy and football player, and a lot of people respect that. And I was like, dude, that's such a first of all badass quote from
Yeah.
a wife. Like if
Yeah.
my wife were to say something
Go
like
get your
that, I'd be
mans.
like,
Go get your mans. Yeah. You'd be like,
yeah, I'd be
you'd be
like, thanks,
blushing
sweetie.
for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, dude, crazy to see him go again. Like, as a Giants fan, we played against him his whole career, or his whole
Hmm.
13-year career, you know,
Hmm.
and you should hate the guy, like,
Yeah.
especially a New York fan with a Philly player, like, you should fucking hate his
Yeah.
guts.
Yeah.
But I can't help but say I love the guy. I love him as a human. I love him as a player, and
Yeah.
I love his podcast. I'm a fan. I'm a huge
Yeah,
fan.
exactly. It's just it's so crazy how like humble he is. On the last podcast, Travis kept saying like, "Oh, March 4th or whatever day he retired." They're like, "Oh, they should name it
Yeah,
Jason Kelce Day," and he's just been like so humble throughout the entire process. And he's just like, "Dude, I'm like such an overrated player. Like I shouldn't be getting all this." Because like,
I know
but
it's crazy.
if you think about it, like if you're an offensive lineman, he said like I don't really have a huge role. You know, you tell blitzes and you know where the pressure is coming from, know what plays. Now, it's a lot of responsibility. He's being humble, but I feel like if you know an offensive lineman's name, you're doing something right at your position.
No,
You know,
100%.
obviously the whole Eagles offensive line and there's other lines in the league who have just been staples on that line with one team for so many years. But if you know an offensive lineman's name, you're at the top of your game because not many people pay
Yeah,
attention
dude.
to offensive linemen of other teams. And he
Yeah,
just has
and
such a
not
great
only
personality.
yeah, it's such a great personality. And not only was he like somebody people's names knew, he was like one of the most sold jerseys in the whole
Yeah.
league. Like,
Yeah.
so if people are buying your jersey as offensive lineman, like, wow,
Exactly. You have
like,
to be doing
he,
something right on and off the field for sure.
oh yeah, 100%, dude, 100%. I think my favorite quote to come out of the whole entire press conference, I just need to share this, is he was talking um about Nick Foles during the Super
Oh
Bowl.
my God. All
He
time
and
speech,
he
all
goes
time moment.
all all time speech, all time moment. So his quote goes, and I definitely won't forget Nick Foles having the game of his life on the biggest stage possible and having the biggest dick on the team.
Dude, it's
Dude,
just so
like
perfect.
the fact that he just said that like in his speech, bro,
Hmm.
like it's just so awesome because not only was he completely right about it, but
Hmm.
to have the balls and just the class to say it the way he did,
Yeah.
like it's definitely not a classy way to say, drop
Yeah.
that in a press conference, but
Yeah.
like everybody loved it. Like that was one of the only things that I saw like quoted that
Yeah.
like everybody was like, that's a fact. Like
Yeah,
that's a
and
cold hard
and
fact.
he just went out in the most Jason Kelsey way possible. He had his flip flop, his sandals on. He was just wearing a cutoff that he used to train in. He said, because obviously it would have
Yeah.
been weird if he was in a suit and tie, because that wasn't him. And I remember they talked about in the podcast just a little bit about his speech. He texted Nick Foles beforehand, just kind of giving him a heads up, like, "Yo, is it all right if I say this?" And Nick was like, "Yeah, man, like do whatever you want. That's awesome." And then Nick Foles texted back again saying, "Like my wife said it's great too. Like she loves the line." So she got like permission from the whole Foles family too. And
That's
uh,
that's awesome. That is
yeah,
sick.
yeah. So no, he gave a great speech. He put it all together. And yeah, gonna miss see him in the league, but definitely look forward to
Yeah, man.
continuing to listen to his podcast of his off-field shenanigans.
I also think we're gonna see a lot of him. Like I could see him
Oh yeah.
being a guest commentator, a guest like broadcast guy, or like
Hmm.
they have him on like Fox NFL
Oh
beforehand,
yeah.
like hanging out with those guys. Like I 100% could see him doing that. Like so I think he is definitely going to be around. And the
Oh yeah.
podcast is, I feel like with him now not having to focus really on that, I feel like that
Hmm.
he's just going to do so much more with that. Like they can make that really into something like huge because they already
Yeah.
have such a huge following.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I
excited
look
to see what
forward to
comes
it.
out from him.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
excited for it, but we definitely just wanted to touch on that from a
Yeah.
podcast and fan perspective.
Yeah, yeah, what's also really cool about that too, in that same podcast that they talked about, because the combine's right around the corner.
Hmm.
They talked about how Jay or Travis, when he was going through the process, um he got denied from the Cowboys
Yeah.
because the Cowboys said that they asked him if he had smoked weed in a year,
Hmm.
and he was like, yeah, like,
Hmm.
and he told the truth. And I find it like funny. I mean, obviously this was like probably 12, 13 years ago.
Hmm.
Um I see that in the league now is I know I think it's legalized now in the league, right?
I
Like they're
think so
allowed to
to a
smoke.
certain extent. I'm pretty sure it's legalized. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's legalized, but I just find it funny that he literally just got passed up on, or the Cowboys passed up on drafting one of the best, tight ends of all time, because that was a huge factor in their decision making. So my question to you is, do you think that, like, even though it is legalized some places, do you think that these ball clubs will have like the same mentality going into this year's combine when we're talking about different like college players and stuff like that?
Probably not because yeah, I think it's legalized in a lot of states to begin with. I think it's legalized within the NFL to a certain extent. Maybe if it's a medical
Yeah.
use, I don't quote me on that, but I know to a certain extent they're more lax on the suspensions and stuff like that. And yeah, no, I mean, listen, I remember years and years ago, the offensive lineman Laramie Tunsil was supposed to go like top 5 in the draft, and right before the draft, he got that video of him. I mean, that was excessive. He had a gas mask on, and he was like hotboxing himself. But he
I didn't
dropped to
see
like
that.
he
I have to
dropped to like
watch that. That's crazy.
yeah, he dropped to like 10 or 15, I think, in that draft, or
Wow.
maybe even later. And it's just like that. I mean, that one's excessive, not on the same level as Travis Kelce, but
Yeah, no.
I think, yeah. I mean, listen, there's owners. A lot of these owners are old school still. So I mean, they
Yeah.
don't only want good ball players. They want to try and at least get some role models. I know some NFL players turn out to not be role models,
Yeah.
but I think
But
you'll take someone smoking a little weed and some of the other bad things that go on there. So,
yeah, I think so too, but I do agree with you. I think that there may be, that random freaking ball club that's like, oh nope, sorry, that's against
mhm.
our policy. We
I
only
mean,
like,
yeah,
kind of like how the Yankees are, like,
dude, if the guy came out of the
we don't
combine
like
with a
guys with
beard,
beers,
yeah, get him out of
exactly.
here.
Yep, sorry, nope, can't be on our team,
Yeah, I'm like,
like
cut it.
something
See
like
you
that, where
later.
it's like, where they have a rule like that. It's like, if
Hmm.
you smoke weed, if you're an excessive, like, user on that stuff,
Hmm.
yeah, sorry, you can't be on the team. I think it's gonna be interesting. And I think, which, if you are a player that's like that, I mean, I'm not naming any names. I'm not really sure this draft class really who kind of is like that,
Yeah,
but I know something we want to touch upon is maybe that's gonna, somebody who could be eligible to go into the draft, maybe they don't go into the draft. Maybe they stay an extra year at college. And, we were talking about it before that, it's kind of crazy now. It's that a lot of these athletes have this potential to do this now
hmm,
because they have the eligibility, first of all, and
yep,
then second of all, they have the power to make more money than they would in their regular rookie contract
yeah,
in the college.
yeah,
So I mean, kind of touch upon that, Tyler, because I know we talked about Nick Saban's reasoning,
yeah.
but to why he left, it goes into a big part of paying these college athletes. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the points you first brought up. I mean, it's so crazy the college football world we live in now, or we're witnessing now, because there's just so many players who can play 7, 8 years in college if they want, between redshirting and COVID regulations and stuff like that. And some guys who are fringe, yeah, like first round picks, obviously, or even top 5. You get a bigger contract, you get paid more for like the first 5 picks. But if you're scared you're not going to go in there, you could really go back to college and get paid close to the same amount of money now. So some players are staying longer because of it. I mean, it's also just it's terrible because a lot of these kids in college are really just not turning into, they're getting privileged, honestly, and
Yeah,
they got the wrong picture in their head. Listen, I understand football is a grueling sport. Could have some career-ending injuries just in practice alone.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, like, some of these players don't really care about the game. Like these NIL deals, like not even just like Alabama. I'll get into Saban in a second. Obviously, talking about that's kind of why he was retiring. But just
Yeah.
all these NIL deals, like you're seeing guys transfer out of top programs to programs that aren't. What's Joey playing over there? No, you get them going into other
I
programs.
had to mute myself. He was yelling too much.
You're good. He's going into other program. They're going to programs that aren't like the top 10 schools. You know, they're not going to Alabama's, the Clemson's, the Ohio States, whatever. Like you're seeing them go to like, not to make fun of them, but like Notre Dame's, Oregon,
Yeah.
all these schools that like, I know the playoffs expanded finally this year, but you're going to teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, but you don't care because you're going
Yeah.
to be one of the best players. You got your NIL money, and
Yeah.
all these guys. I mean, look at Caleb Williams. He's supposed to be the top prospect in the entire draft, and
Yeah.
he sat out of the combine. I know he's not the only top prospect to sit out of the combine, but he's deciding to not show medicals to teams unless they're looking at him. He didn't want to throw. He didn't want to do this. Like I know sometimes the combine is really not the tell all end all be all because I know he has some game tape, but
Yeah.
a lot of these guys just they don't care anymore, and that's some things Saban touched on, like you sent me.
Yeah. That was crazy. I think what was the actual quote he said was
I have it
if
right
we
here.
can,
Yeah,
yeah, if you want to pull it
yeah,
up.
yeah. So Saban went on some interview or talk show and kind of just talked about why he retired. Obviously, age was a big factor. He's like 70 years old, but he also talked about these are a majority of the conversations he had after the Rose Bowl loss when they lost to Michigan. He said, all I want to know is two things. What assurances do I have that I'm going to play? And how much are you going to pay me? I mean, I understand the playing time because you want
Oh,
your draft stock
100%.
to go up,
Yeah.
but to how much are you going to pay me? That's ridiculous. I mean, you're in college, man. You're
No,
you're
100%.
19 to 20. You're the last person who should have millions of dollars. I would have not known what
Yeah.
to do with it in college. And then he also just
I
said,
mean,
he also,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off, he just kept going
No,
saying,
you're
I'm
good.
not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's never been what we were all about. And it's not why we had success throughout the years. I mean, I haven't paid attention to many other teams, but just paying attention to Alabama throughout the years, like ex-players were complaining about just the dedication on that team. It looks like no one cares if
Yeah.
they won. No one cared if they lost
And
because
they lost.
they
I got paid. Who cares?
literally, and
But
it's
you
sad.
know, at the and it's crazy because it's like in the NFL though, like I feel like they care so much when they win or lose. Is it because of like the legacy that the NFL has? Is like you want to be known as a winner?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Like with them getting paid in college, yes, 100%. Is it good that now college athletes can get paid now
Mm-hmm.
for their likeness and stuff? Because all the time beforehand, it was just, these big corporate companies making this money
Mm-hmm.
off of the schools.
Yeah.
But now they can make a little bit of dough off of them. But is it getting a little bit too much? I,
Yeah.
I think that's a good question to ask
Yeah.
because it's like if you're having a coach have to think about the reasons why he's coaching, because
Mm-hmm.
players are greedy. I mean, it could
Yeah.
have just been obviously those players in those positions.
Yeah.
It could have even been a minor detail. But if I was a coach, man, I feel like I would have also kind of had that same reaction to it. It's like, is it worth
Yeah.
my
Well,
stress about this?
yeah, because he was on just such a different level recruiting wise because he could offer you championships. He could offer you Alabama, But,
Yeah,
now past that, like now they don't even really care about that. They just care about one, how much can they play to showcase themselves, and also how much money can they make on the side. Because it's kind of crazy. I remember it might have been last year, coach in Nebraska or Wisconsin, I forgot where he was, Matt Rule. He said he's like, oh, in the transfer portal now to get a decent quarterback, it's 1 to 2 million. Sounds like free agency, like 1 to 2 million.
that's
Like you
crazy.
got to be kidding me. I understand players were getting exploited for so many years. Having 80 to 100,000 people in the stands. Paying money for beers, drinks, tickets, tailgating. They could buy your jerseys. They could, a long time ago they could have NCAA the games. All this stuff, and you weren't getting paid a dime. But at the end of the day,
Not a dime. Yeah.
I remember seeing these guys used to empty out their lockers at the end of the year. They had so much free stuff. They don't have to
Oh
have the
yeah.
top GPA. Like I remember seeing Texas, they were like, "Oh, our football team had its highest GPA in 20 years." It's like, not to make fun of anyone, it was like a 2.8. It's like that's not something to be proud of, you know?
Yeah, because there's probably somebody there who had a 4.0 and they got dragged down by a
You know
1.2.
exactly, and I know they're there to play and all this stuff, and it's terrible. But like, I understand that they think they deserve to be paid. If I was on the other side, I would think the same thing. But I think these NIL deals are just becoming too much of a priority for a lot of these players, and it's taking a little bit away from college football because a lot of them don't care,
Yeah,
in my
I don't know,
opinion.
man. I think it's crazy. Because the fact that it's just like every sport now, like, is getting paid. Like, I
Hmm.
understood like the big time games that we would watch, like even like um like well, what's like a even like the college baseball, really, they're even able to get paid now, which is crazy to me,
Jeez, yeah,
but like, who watches college baseball? No offense to anybody who does play
yeah.
college baseball, but like the big college sports everybody watches is basketball, men's or women's,
Hmm.
or football. Like, nobody's really watching this other
No.
stuff. It's so crazy to me, so
Hmm.
crazy to me, but you know I think that eventually things will start swinging back the way. I think players will start noticing that, like, especially Alabama, like that, or whoever the next big coach is that builds a great program,
Yeah.
and it's not about the money, it's about what, like, football stands for at those
Hmm.
schools, like winning championships, and that's what's going to get you to get those stocks.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see, like you mentioned, Caleb Williams,
Hmm.
see where he ends up falling, and then how good he ends up being
Yeah. He's
because he
got a
got
lot
paid
to
a shit ton
prove.
in college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he
got a
got
lot to
paid a
prove.
shit ton in college,
Hmm.
and it will be interesting to see that if paying big time money, or getting paid big time money to go to a smaller school ends
Hmm.
up working out later on.
Yeah.
So
And
I
just
don't
the
know.
last point I wanted to bring up with the NIL deals, it's always the worst. Like, with gambling now being such a big thing in sports and teams being sponsored, or sports leagues sponsoring gambling sites, and Pete Rose is still suspended for gambling, different time then. I think it's the same thing nowadays when, like, these ex NFL players were talking about their college time when NIL deals weren't a thing, and they're like, oh yeah, they got me a car, they got my mom a house, they got all this stuff. Like, Zion talked about, he got a lot of money, sponsorships under the table. But the worst one of all is Reggie Bush got his Heisman taken away for getting paid during
Uh-huh.
this.
Yeah.
And I know it's a different
And he
time, and
wasn't he wasn't the only one either. He wasn't the
dude,
only one.
and
He was just the only one that got caught.
exactly. And it was just like, he's the only one that got caught. And also, like, I know back then it was not allowed and not a good thing. But like, if I
Yeah.
was Reggie Bush, I'm sitting there so mad right now because now it's
Yeah.
allowed. These guys are talking about getting paid so much money in college. They're even going back for more years. And I can't have my Heisman. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy to me.
You know,
That
it's
was,
it's crazy you bring that up. I actually just saw that Johnny Manziel recently just had a very, very similar quote on that, where he said, "I'm not participating in any other
yes.
Heisman activities until
Mhm.
they give Reggie back his trophy." And I think that's a really cool thing for him to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, especially if you're gonna make it legal, like, come
Mhm.
on, man. Give Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame and
Mhm.
give our boy Reggie Bush back his Heisman.
Do
Like,
it.
come on. Do it. Do it. If you listen to the two-man podcast and you care about anything, let's protest for those boys. Get them in their respected homes. Give them the respect they deserve.
Damn right, brother.
Damn right, brother.
Yeah, but that is all the topics we had to talk about before we got to our lovely game. So
Oh,
this
game.
week I am
I'm
finally
scared.
quizzing Carl. It's not trivia. You should not be scared. I just want to
Ah,
see
okay,
where
good.
you lie with a couple of these things.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it's a start bench cut, one of our favorites. And just
Oh,
on
well, one of
some
my favorites.
things, we have St. Patty's Day this month, but we also have Easter, which is the last day of March, which I found out before this episode, luckily enough.
Yeah, it's like very early this year. Crazy.
It is. So
Hmm.
I want you to start bench cut these March treats, if you will.
All right.
We have Peeps, we have the Reese's Pieces eggs, and then we have Hershey eggs. I don't know if you've had all three of those, but I would like you to start bench cut
I
those.
have. I have. Um, I'm going to start the Hershey eggs because
Nice.
I don't like peanut butter. So
Oh
like
no.
not that I don't like peanut butter, it's just like not
Don't
one of
bench
my
him.
favorites.
Don't bench him. Don't put him
So
on the
I'm
bench.
gonna I'm gonna bench um Peeps
Oh.
and then I'm cutting Reese's eggs.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, if you don't like peanut butter, I don't blame you, but oh my god, I don't like Peeps. If I heard that, I personally would have sent that straight to Mars or somewhere to the moon, to the sun,
Straight
because
to the
I
gulag, bro.
yeah, dude, it's either you kind of like Peeps or you don't like them at all, and I do not like them at all. So everyone, please let me know if you like Peeps or not in the comments, because
What would be your number one? The Reese's eggs?
no, I probably go. No, I probably would have. No, I would have Hershey eggs as start, bench Reese's eggs,
All right,
because I just
all
grew
right.
up on Hershey eggs. I've only liked peanut butter like over the last few years, so
Yeah, no. No, I just recently started getting back into peanut butter. So maybe in like 2 years or so, maybe
I'll
it'll
ask you
move
again.
up the rankings. Yeah, ask me again.
Gotcha.
Bookmark.
And then I just have one more here. I'll call it St. Patty's Day drinks. Well, so we'll
All right,
start
all right.
bench cut these St. Patty's Day drinks. We got Irish car bombs. I did Jameson slash a pickleback shot, but doesn't have to be pickleback if you don't like pickles. And then a Guinness,
Okay. So what was the first one?
Irish car bomb,
All right.
Jameson, and then and then just Guinness.
All right. So I'm starting the Irish car bomb.
Fire.
I'm benching Jameson shots.
And I'm a big fan of the
But
Guinness.
if it was just pickleback shots,
Hmm.
hard cutting that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think the
That's why I did like slash that.
grossest things ever.
Yeah.
Those are so gross.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna unfortunately cut Guinness. The other two are just really high up on my list.
Fair.
But don't knock Guinness. I would love Guinness. It's just a little
Irish
heavy, you know. If you drink
Irish
a lot
car.
of those, very,
What's
very,
an
very
Irish car
filling.
bomb? Isn't that Guinness anyway? With
It is
some.
it is Guinness, yeah.
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 I just wanted to
So
make sure. Uh,
yeah. It's Guinness, I think, with a shot of Bailey's and whiskey. But don't quote me on that. I ain't the
Interesting.
bartender here. We're gonna
Yeah.
have the ex-Irish Mike.
We're gonna have to, but yeah, no. I just thought I'd play a quick little game with you, see where you lied on those.
No, fire, dude. Fire. Dude, great episode. We killed
Yes,
it. Everybody out there, go watch Dune 2.
yes,
Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. We will be
hmm,
back with more. Go buy some merch. I'm currently wearing the long sleeve. This thing is
yep,
absolutely super comfortable.
hmm,
And shout out Tyler wearing a fire jersey. Team USA hockey from the Magical Miracle team. Let's go,
yes,
baby.
exactly.
Let's
And like Carl said, thanks for making it this far. Thanks for continuing support. Keep subscribing, keep liking, and I'd be remiss if I did not also say a quick happy birthday to my mom. When this episode
go.
drops, it will be
Oh,
her birthday. So, mom, happy
oh.
birthday. And hopefully, thank you for listening. And thank you, everyone else, for listening. We will see you next episode. Peace.
Happy birthday. Bye.